right, so here we have a small little Angular application that allows us to search the OMDB database. Yes. I'm sorry? Oh, pagination. If you look at the API, one of the arguments is the page, right? So you would calculate, right, the total. Remember that when it comes back, it gives you the total, right? So you know how many pages there are, right? If you say the size of the page is 10, and it's 300, you know there's 30 pages, right? So you could display all 30 pages, right? Or next, or left, right? And then you would calculate the page number that you want to jump to. And then you can provide it here as an argument, right? Which page do you want to jump to, right? And then it will give you the 10 values for that particular page, okay? But it would be your responsibility to keep track on what page you're in, right? And then provide it as an argument to the URL, okay? What's he gonna do? Right, so we're going to do the details, right? What we'd like to be able to do is add the capability that, if I select any one of these, I would want to know more, right? Not just these 4 or 5 attributes, right? This is kind of like a summary result, right? I like to know more about these things. So the way we're going to implement this, what's this? Oh, okay, all right. So we have a terminator. Okay, it's coming back. What I like to be able to do is, as I click on one of these, I see the details for each one of them, right? So what we could do is maybe split the page in two, where we have the result sets on the left-hand side, right, and we can have the details on the right-hand side. And as we click on the left-hand side, we see the details on the right. It's a very common use case, right? So let's do that. Let's break up the layout, right? So that this search is on the left-hand side and the details are on the right-hand side, right? So let's do that. Let's create the layout over here. Let's use Bootstrap to do that. So we'll say div class. It'll be a single row with 2 columns, right? So the left column will be maybe, I don't know, we could use like a third, 2/3 split. So it'll be maybe 4 XS4. So that's a third on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, we could do the rest, the remainder, 8. Okay? Right? So on the left-hand side, we would like to put everything that we had originally here, right? So let's move all this into the left-hand side. Okay? And on the right-hand side, we'll do details. So this will be H2 details. So let's see what that looks like now, right? So we have the 1/3 on the left-hand side, which allows us to search, and the details on the right-hand side is a 2/3 split. Make sense? All right. So let's one easy thing that we could do, right? One easy thing that we could do is have here model.movie, right? Model.movie. And as we click on any one of these, we already have a movie object here, right? We could just send it over for the details, right? Something like this. We could say ng-click. We could say that model.movie is equal to the movie that we're currently iterating over, right? And just say movie, like that. Right, so if we click here and we look for the abyss, and we click on this, notice that on the right-hand side we have details of the object that we're clicking on. Make sense? Right, but this information is not, it's really very lacking. Right, it's only a minor result set from a summary result set. Right, we want really more information. We really want to go back to the server, right, for more information. Using the IMDb ID, right? So let's do that. Let's do that instead. Let's not do this. So instead of this ng-click model.movie.movie, right? What we're going to do is that we're going to say search movie by IMDb ID, and we're going to pass the movie.imdb ID. I'm going to pass that as an argument. Yes? All right. So let's implement that. Let's copy this. Let's copy this. All right. Let's go over to the model, to the controller, and let's create a an event handler for this. Right. Implemented right here. We could do a function, search movie ID. There it is. Oops. So this is IMDb like that. There we go. All right, so the query for this, the URL, looks very, very similar to this. So let's copy it. And so in here, instead of being S, it's I. Okay? And this is IMDb, like that. And so instead of rendering the movies, it'll render the movie, right? Or maybe render movie details. Okay? And so it'll be right here, function render movie details. This is a response, and this will be model.movie, which we already have a placeholder for it on the client side, right? We're going to say response.data. That's the raw object that comes from the server. So let's try it out. Right. So if I go to Aliens, another James Cameron movie, if I click on any one of these, it'll go out to the server and fetch the detailed information and render over here, right? So depending on which one I click, right? This is detailed information that comes from the server, right? Notice that I'm not using any of my database, right? I should not need my database at all unless I need to remember something about this, right? That maybe somebody likes this movie, or somebody's reviewing or commenting, right? Or add it to my playlist or whatever, right? Then I need to involve my database, right? But up to this point, I don't need any of this. I don't need the database. Okay. All right. So now that we have the details, let's render a couple of things here. Maybe we can use a title, right? So instead of details, maybe we can render the title of the movie, right? So we can say maybe in the template, right, in the details side, we could render here model.movie.title, right? Maybe we could render the plot here in a paragraph, right? Maybe we can render the director in H3. So model.movie.director. Okay. Maybe we could render the image, right, in NGSRC equal to model.movie.plot, and just render it maybe a little bit bigger. So with maybe 100 pixels instead of 50. Okay. And maybe render the cast. Render it here. Maybe this will be model.movie. What was it? Genre, actors. Actors, so actors, render it there. Okay. So let's see what we got so far. So Aliens, Avatar. I'm a big fan of James Cameron. So if I click on this, notice that the image is not working. Wait, what? Where? Oh, not plot, poster. Thank you. So there it is, right? And notice that the cast, we could do a little better than that, right? Maybe we could render it as a list of actors as opposed to just as a string. Notice that the actors is just a string, comma-separated string. So what we could do is we could iterate over it. So it could be a UL, it could be an LI, right? And we could iterate over the actors here. We can say ng repeat of actor in movie model.movie.actors, but that's an array. That's a string, right? We can't iterate over a string. It needs to be an array, right? So we can convert that into an array by splitting it over the comma. Then it becomes an array, right, of strings, and then we can iterate over that so that we can just render just the actor name. Okay. And we don't need this anymore. Any other James Cameron movies? Did I run out of James Cameron movies? I did. Anyway, there it is. So Sam and Zoe and Sigourney Weaver. So this should be the extent of your POC or your proof of concept, right? I can search by criteria. I can render it a list of these things. I can select one of them and display some detailed content for your project. You'll need to separate these two things into separate views, right? So you'll need some routing and some parameters going back between these two things, right? Routing from one to the other. Also being able to be able to select that I like this, right, and create the relationship between a user and the movies that they like, right. But for the POC, right, I think this would be the extent that they should be able to feel comfortable with the API that you're using for handling those two use cases: searching, right, showing some summary data, and then being able to display detailed information from any one of those objects using some primary key identifier. All right? Okay. Yes? Yep, this would be perfect.